They are truly an amazing couple. But like anyone, they could stand to learn a little bit more about each other. Now, there is a whole lot of things that I could stand to learn a lot about, and not the least of which is NASCAR. So luckily, there were a few people around to help educate me. Now, Renee, we're at Circuit Jacques Villeneuve. Last time we were here was for F1, and I have to admit, I get F1 because of the technology and the crazy regulations that go into it. I have to admit, I don't really get NASCAR. What's the big deal?
Well, simply because this is NASCAR's only visit in Canada, so we're pretty lucky here to have one of the three major series coming here to Circuit Jacques Villeneuve. And one of the things is that it's the only track in the world where you can see on one day Formula One and then NASCAR, so you've got the direct comparison between the two. Obviously, the nationwide cars are going to be a lot slower than the F1 cars because they're about 3 times the weight.
Yeah.
They don't have the wings. The aerodynamics are completely different. The engine, the transmission. But you've got the direct comparison in looking into a corner. How the F1 car is a lot more nimble into the corners, into the braking, acceleration, and everything than the NASCAR.
Okay, so you've got my attention. We're talking about the cars now, and I do want to know more about that. How do I learn about that, though?
Let's go and see Trent Owens. He's a crew chief, and he's pretty good at it.
So Trent, we've caught you in the middle of tech inspection. I know you don't have a lot of time, but I do want to know, usually in NASCAR you're racing on ovals, and now you're on a road course. So what kind of differences does that make for you?
Yeah, well, basically it starts with the construction of the race car itself. We build a couple race cars just for road course racing. These cars cannot be used on the ovals at all, so it kind of throws a curve in things. You know, we have
Literally
three road courses throughout the season, and so we built a special car just for that.
You're building a special car just for 3 races, and that kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, if you want to stay up front, you have to do that. But, yeah, it takes a little extra effort out of the crew, but they do a good job. And you know, just things that go into doing the right-hand turns versus the left-hand turns. You know, we can offset some of the weight distribution, change some of the front-end geometry for the different settings for right hands, because we do so many things to get our cars just to turn left all the time.
Right.
You kind of really have to go back to more of a symmetrical basic setup for the road course. You notice the various wide fenders and all that stuff's hand fabricated out of steel. That's why you see a lot of the close racing, a lot of the beating and banging. The design of the car, they're able to do that and keep going. You know, we don't have as many of the exotic aerodynamical features in this sport as they do in like the F1 or other series. So, you know, we have to work with these hand-formed, lower budgeted steel pieces, but we also allow the drivers to be able to beat and bang with each other, which kind of makes it exciting.
It's kind of a demolition derby out there, isn't it? A little bit?
It can get that way.
Yeah?
I know when it rains, it gets that way.
Well, I got something to confess to you. I made a friend up there in tech inspection, and I think I'm going to help with the body test on your car.
I think we should invite you every week.
Yeah. I might be some sort of competitive advantage for you guys. Or not. I don't know. It might work against you.
When you go through this body tech, it is the most temperamental and tedious part of the technical inspection.
Okay.
So yeah, any kind of advantage through body tech would help.
All right, I'm going to head up there and see if I can get on top of it. Good. Amazing. Okay, so we're through tech inspection, but Trent, what can you tell me about the interior of the car?
So we have all the gauges that tell us all the engine management stuff. See our switch panel. A lot of these are hooked to fans that cool the rear end gear, cool all the braking. We have double ignition boxes in case one ignition goes out. We have an AB ignition. Also, if you look right here, to change the handling characteristics of the brakes, we have a brake bias adjuster. You can actually put more brake to the front or more brake to the rear depending on what the driver's feeling. I'm going to show you the tachometer, the different lights that will go off. This is the shift light. This is how we set our pit road speed. You can see as the car starts to gain green lights, it'll start to flash. When it flashes green, that's pretty much all you can run pit road speed. You're speeding after that. So, you know, this is something we do for the drivers so they can get the most out of the pit road speed as they can, so they don't lose any time. You know, time in the pits is valuable. And then we also have a light set up for shifting. As the RPM starts to approach about 8,900 100, you see the lights start to come on. Going on through, get over 89, this pretty much tells the driver when he's reached his maximum shift point for his RPM. This is just something that the driver doesn't have to look at. He obviously sees it in his peripheral and knows that he's in the range that he needs to be shifting to the next gear.
Circuit Villeneuve is certainly a very special track for multiple reasons, and now it is also the location where my newfound appreciation for the sport of NASCAR was born. So thank you very much, Dio. Join us next week for a pit stop to fuel you up on a less obvious automotive trend. We'll also look at the 2011 Subaru WRX, and I get some of our friends from NASCAR to express their feelings on some other cars. Hit the show with you anywhere on iTunes. Don't forget to become a fan of the show on Facebook and follow me on Twitter at Donna Mei-Ling. And hey, spread joy wherever you go. We'll see you next week.